All right, we are back here on our summer pop culture kickoff special here on the Just and the Suffering podcast, talking summer movies with our favorite resident movie critic, Barstool Sports own Jon Stanko is here. John, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Mike Phillips. You caught me on a day off from work, so I'm in a great mood, and thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And since you are the movie guy, I do want to get your takes a couple of things that happens the last time we talked before we did our Oscars preview. So, number one, Oscars chaos. I'm sure you got a take.
The Oscars chaos. The Academy has to be ecstatic, right? Sure,
Right.
they lost Will Smith for 10 years, but this is the most anyone's talked about the Oscars in 2 decades. It's crazy. Obviously, it was monumental thing to watch. You didn't believe it when it happened on the screen. I don't believe for a second that it was staged. People who thought that, I think, are kind of cynical. But listen, my biggest thing was Twitter is usually a cesspool where everyone's complaining. This was a moment in culture and in social media where Twitter was perfect. And there's only very finite moments where that's possible, where you know something special, when all of Twitter is a buzz and it's the only thing people can talk about. And that's exactly what the moment was with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So it was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, I've been keeping track of stuff throughout the year because I've been doing a running list of stuff for Pop Culture Party 4 at the end of the year with us and Sam DeRose. I was going to be on the episode later talking about Stranger Things. Like that made the list. I'm like, okay, this Oscar's going on for the first time ever.
That might be number one. Like, what other pop culture thing this year has happened that has topped that moment? You have arguably the biggest movie star in the world that's universally beloved, winning his first Academy Award, and he does something so asinine that his reputation may forever be damaged a mere hour before he's going to be getting a standing ovation. Crazy.
Yeah, literal insanity. And I'm sure they probably got insane ratings for that last hour, and while everyone's waiting to see if he won and gave the speech.
Yeah, there was a literal spike in the jump. If you look at the graphs, like the ratings go up. And imagine if they have to have Chris Rock host next year. Yes. They have to. If they don't, it's a failure. Give him a blank check. Be like, Chris, here you go. Host it. It'll automatically, I would say, at least raise the viewership by 33% from this year just by having Chris Rock host.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I felt bad for like some of the other people there and some of the other movie nominees. I mean, like, everybody forgets the shock that Coda won Best Picture, but like no one ever forget the Will Smith incident.
No one ever. I really feel bad for Questlove. I mean, he won for Best Documentary, and nobody gave a flying crap what he had to say after the whole entire moment. Chris Rock powered through the nominations, obviously flustered, and I feel most bad for Questlove because an absolute. I mean, he got robbed. He got robbed of the spotlight that he deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. And number two, the other big thing is I know that like you've seen The Batman, which has been probably like the biggest movie of the year thus far in terms of buzz. So what do you think? What was your takeaway from the movie?
I thoroughly enjoyed The Batman, Mike Phillips. I think this was a comic book movie that was not a carbon copy of things that were made for the past decade. You know, I'm a little bit cynical on Marvel, but this movie was made to be a cinematic experience, not a comic book experience. The way it was shot, the way it was acted, the dark griminess of Gotham. This was a pure Batman movie taken directly from the comic books. It was not glossy like the Christopher Nolan movies. It was not shiny. This was grimy and gritty. And I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved it too when I watched it here because for one thing, we never, ever, ever in a movie see Batman actually be a detective like he is in the comics. It's fun to see that take for 3 hours.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And again, it was a more realistic, grounded approach to a superhero. I like that we got almost no time with Bruce Wayne. We focused strictly on the Batman. It's the most Batman, quote unquote, movie of any Batman movie that's been put out because you spend almost all the time with the Caped Crusader with the mask.
Yeah, absolutely. I did love that. The acting was great throughout. I'm excited to see what directions they go with the sequel here. So you know it's coming. I think they announced it already. And I hope
they're playing on 3.
I hope they don't go. I hope they learn from this and continue like sort of this model and don't go for the flashy, bangy, like flip kicky. I mean, they had enough fun stuff there. Like the chase with the Batmobile was fantastic, but like,
I mean, I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago, and they said they didn't like the movie, and they said the chase was the worst part of the movie, and I almost strangled the person on the couch because that's just an absurd take. For me, the best part of the movie was the introduction of the Batmobile. That was Matt Reeves and cinematographer Greg Fraser just having fun because they made the Batmobile feel like a pit bull that's been caged in a dog pen and want to just be unleashed and chase after a bone. That's what it felt like watching the Batmobile be unveiled. and it was so good. And so I really hope you're right. They continue with this practical approach, the detective approach for the upcoming 2 sequels.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this. And let's get now to some of the general thoughts on this summer movie slate here, because I was looking up the list before I sent the rundown over you about movies. I was like, to me, this feels kind of underwhelming. I don't think there's a lot here. Do you feel the same way?
I would agree. There's, I would say, a lot of high profile, but then there's not a lot of in the middle. It's very top tier, but then there's a lot of things that people aren't going to care about at all. And in the middle is where it's lacking. There's nothing that's kind of just going to generate my excitement on a minuscule level. You got the massive IP, but then you got some original ideas. But in the middle, there's not a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, because like I was looking at the list, I'm struggling. Like, is this all I really have? I have like maybe 8 movies total I want to talk about in this category, and like
there were some that you put on the list, Mike. I'm going to be honest, I don't give a flying shit about. There was one I literally wrote down for a comment. I don't care. I'll let you guess which one that is.
Yeah, I'm guessing it involved the Minions.
You would be absolutely correct. I do not give a flying crap about the Minions movie. It'll make a ton of money. I'm happy for the families that will go and see it. But I stopped after Despicable Me 2. I'm done. I'm happy. Go let those yellow things be happy. I don't care.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually went to the movies recently. I saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I see a bunch of these trailers, so I have some takes on some of these movies too. So I'm right there with you, ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, but that's another thing though with this summer. I have written down Marvel's coming back. You had Spider-Man, which was a big success. You had the Multiverse of Madness, which I think moderate success. I don't think everyone loves the movie, but it's making a ton of money. And then you have Thor: Love and Thunder, which the new trailer dropped yesterday, our day of recording. It dropped during the NBA playoffs during halftime. And that's going to be a ton of buzz when that one comes out soon. So Marvel is also a big thing that's coming back this summer.
Yeah, Marvel. I mean, I saw Doctor Strange. I was kind of on the movie because like
That's what I heard.
I'm like, it was fine. Like there are things they do with Wanda's character you're not a big fan of. For me, the whole phase though, I can see where you're coming from. It's sort of like they have a plan they haven't told us yet because it's like a mix of like origin stories, flashbacks, continuations, trying to jam stuff together. Like nothing really like seems to flow smoothly. I know the pandemic had some issue with their scheduling, but still a mess.
Yeah, so this is the question I have for you because you're a bigger Marvel guy than I am. You have followed along, you stayed up to date with everything. Does Marvel have a quality problem? Because what I have heard and just listening to podcasts and people talking is that people are enjoying the entertainment value of the movies, but they're starting to realize the movies aren't great anymore. They're not excellent films. They're just vessels for entertainment and popcorn. Like, do you feel the same way? Do you feel like they're going down that path? Do they need something to lift them up back up to like high quality film as well as high entertaining?
Well, I think for me, of the 6 movies that come out so far, I'd say that one was very good and was Spider-Man No Way Home. I would say Shang-Chi is probably the second rated movie of the ones I've seen thus far.
Wow, you put that above Multiverse of Madness? I didn't think Shang-Chi was that great.
I like Shang-Chi a lot better than Multiverse of Madness.
Wow. Okay, well that doesn't bode well for when I eventually see Multiverse.
Oh, that was number 3 for me as Multiverse.
Okay, I'm very curious to see where Marvel goes because I think I'm starting. There are people I know who are big Marvel fans who are now stopping because there's too much. The fracturing of there's too much to keep up with between Moon Knight, the new TV shows coming out, all the movies too, and it's happening. I feel a fracture within the Marvel Universe force, and I don't know if it's going to be able to be stitched back together. I'm curious as what the Feige will do.
Yeah, well, I think they have the right movie coming out next. I think Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be huge.
Right. I mean, this is the one where if I had stayed up to date on everything, I'd be rushing on theaters to see it because I loved Thor Ragnarok. It's my favorite Marvel movie from that first phase. And Taiko's back. You got
Natalie Portman's back.
Yeah, I got Natalie. I mean, to be fair, I didn't want her back. Why was she back? I didn't care. Thor Dark World, terrible. Didn't care for her in the first Thor either. Why is she back? That's a question. An honest question. She hasn't been in a Marvel movie in almost, has to be like 8 years.
Yeah, well, assuming you don't count the reused footage from Endgame, yeah.
Correct. So why? Yeah. Do people honestly want her back, or is it the fact that they're just bringing her character back that's making people excited? Like, I'm curious. Was this an audience calling for her, or is this them trying to bring the audience back?
I think it's probably the latter. I think they have a direction for the character here, and I feel bad for Natalie Portman too. I feel like she's had a lot of these big franchise movies where she gets like the short end of the stick in terms of the script.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, listen, the Star Wars prequels. Listen,
episode 3, they assassinate her character so badly.
Correct, absolutely. So I'm curious, but again, I think the vibe for Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be very, very good. I think it's going to get a ton of buzz, and I think it's going to be the best reviewed movie of this new Marvel phase thus far, just because I have faith in Taiki and what he does.
I'd say best of this year at least, because Spider-Man got extremely great reviews. So,
all right, fair enough. We will see.
And I will say the other Marvel problem here is I don't think the TV shows are landing as well, because I don't think they actually know how to write television. Like these things all sort of feel like they're just movies that are chopped up into episodes and don't really have a TV flow.
Yeah, I mean, people who watch Moon Knight, they were like intrigued by the premise at the start, but then at the end, they kind of made it feel like homework. And that's the vibe I got with people talking at work. They're like, the first couple episodes, cool, it's just something different. But then by the end, you're like, it's not keeping my attention, but I started, so I might as well finish. That's the vibe I got talking with people at work.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get down some of these movies here. Obviously, the one coming out closest to release here, Top Gun Maverick, the long-awaited sequel to the original Top Gun from the 80s here. It's supposed to come out, I think, 2020 before
it was, yeah,
everything, and now it's finally coming out here. I've seen all the press buzz. The trailer looks great. How are you feeling about this movie?
Listen, I love the first Top Gun. Me and Emma will just dance to Danger Zone in the kitchen. It's one thing that we do. I'm so excited for this movie, and I'm stoked the reviews are also astronomically positive. I have not seen a negative review on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes when I've gone and peeked. Every podcast I listen to has great buzz about this movie. Tom Cruise has poured his heart and soul into this, and it seems to be worth it, which is absolutely crazy that a movie that's made 3 decades after the original still has the fanfare after this. This is such dad energy of the people in their mid 40s and 50s going to see this movie are going to be absolutely stoked out of their minds. And it's going to make a ton of money, an absolute ton. It's going to be 2 back-to-back major summers for Cruise too, because he has Top Gun Maverick, and then he has Mission Impossible next summer. So Tom Cruise is taking over summer 2022 and 2023.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this could have also been, this was supposed to be the summer of Keanu, but I think both these movies got pushed back. So
that's true. I mean, John Wick Chapter 4, you'll see me in the opening weekend midnight premiere for that one if I can. But I'm very, very excited for Top Gun Maverick. The cast seems stellar. I've heard John Hamm is remarkable with this character in this movie. So I'm very, very excited for it. I think this is, in terms of the sequels coming out this summer, I think this one has the best chance at being the most well-reviewed of the sequels coming out.
Yeah, I think for sure. And I think it's just sort of our summer kickoff movie here. I feel like they get the summer off to a flying start.
That's a great pun right there. Nice job. I see what you did there.
Yep. That's you. You're in the game for a number of years. You know how to take these puns.
Yep.
All right. Next up here, the very troubled production of Jurassic World Dominion finally is coming out. And I don't know if did you see the Netflix movie that was horrendous? It was basically a pun of like what happened with production for them.
No, I didn't know. What is this? I haven't heard this.
There's a very crappy movie on Netflix called The Bubble. It basically spoofs all of the.
Oh, I had no desire to watch it. It looked terrible from the trailer. It looked awful. That had Pedro Pascal in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard. I had no desire to watch that.
Yeah, it was terrible. Basically, the spoof of all the issues they had on production, like when they had their bubble. Now it's finally coming out, and I don't know. I've seen footage of it. I can't tell the actual buzz behind it. People are intrigued by this or not.
I have conflicting feelings. It can't be worse than Fallen Kingdom, right? It can't be. Fallen Kingdom, terrible. It has Laura Dern and Sam Neill back. That's good.
Yeah.
Then with Jeff Goldblum brings back some goodwill in my mind, right? This is the original trio. This is what we all love. But it seems to be from the trailers that the main catalyst for the heroes getting back into the world is to go rescue the baby of Blue, the Velociraptor.
Yeah.
That's like the main instigating point to get them out of the woods and to go be among the dinosaurs again. Why? This may be a me thing. I don't care about Blue. I don't care about his baby. Just like I don't really care about the droids in Star Wars very much. I care about humans. Like, so if their main catalyst to get out there into the world again and to get amongst the danger is to rescue a baby Velociraptor, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. What is the big bad in this movie? What are they trying to stop? What are they trying to accomplish? That's what I'm most confused by, because I don't understand what's the point of this movie in the long run besides saving this baby dinosaur. Maybe you know and I don't, but I haven't picked up anything from the trailers with that.
I have not. And correct me if you think this is a bad analogy here. I feel like what's gone on with this franchise of the last couple of movies has very much has Star Wars sequel energy written all over it, in terms of like the first one came out was loved, everybody was excited about it. The second one kind of stunk. The third one's had a lot of issues of production, and now the storyline sounds like it's gonna be terrible.
Well, here's the thing though, is that the Last Jedi at least took chances to be different. The Fallen Kingdom tried to be the same thing and still failed.
Yeah.
So that's where this is, I think, different. But I do agree with you. It's a great analogy that this third part of this sequel trilogy, both of them are bringing back old cast members to try and reclaim some goodwill to get people back to go and watch it. Now, hopefully, Dominion can do it better than The Rise of Skywalker. But again, I am skeptical. I like the Jurassic Park franchise as a whole, even though I hate Fallen Kingdom. I'll stand by Jurassic World. I didn't think it was terrible. I had a great time in the theaters when I saw it, but Dominion, I'm going to be skeptical about this one until I see some positive things, but I'm not overly optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, you feel the way about Jurassic World, the way I feel about Force Awakens, where now people retroactively go back and bash it and say, oh, like it was a bad movie. It set up everything that's going wrong. I'm like, you guys are lying to yourselves, because when you were in that theater, you loved it. You had so much
right.
And now it's like you're just retroactively saying, oh, 8 and 9 were bad, so I'm going to hate 7 too.
Right. That's one of the things. Just admit you had a good time. It's okay to admit you had a good time with the movie, which you can admit like isn't the most original thing. That's like Avatar. When Avatar came out, guess what? I was thoroughly entertained by it when I saw it. Sure, it's Pocahontas with blue people, but guess what? You still had a great time when you saw it. So I agree with you. Dominion has a ton of star power with it. But I mean, we'll see. I will see.
Yeah, and it's other connected theories. In both movies, I feel like Jurassic World and this one and Force Awakens both set up like some great like plot points that weren't necessarily followed through.
Yeah, but again, it's at what point do you care about the story? What point do you care about rescuing a franchise from oblivion? Because right now, Star Wars movies are dead in the water, and Disney couldn't save that. We're not going to see another Star Wars movie for 5 years. What's going to happen to Jurassic Park after Dominion? Nobody knows. We'll see if this movie can at least resurrect it and give it a life jacket so it could float a little bit longer while Star Wars is drowning.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the next one here, and this is one that I got very down on after seeing the trailer in theaters. Like, I'm out on Lightyear. I think it's gonna be a terrible movie. I don't think it's gonna pull me at all. I thought this is them trying to make Toy Story without making Toy Story 5. So I just don't think it's gonna work. I'm not one who hates the Chris Evans being the new voice of Buzz Lightyear, but we don't need this.
I agree with you. We don't need it. Can we admit though, Chris Evans being cast as young Buzz Lightyear is like almost too perfect? It's like you look at Chris Evans, you look at Buzz Lightyear, and it just makes sense.
It does.
So that makes sense. I agree with you. I'm not going to be rushing out to see this movie, but can we both agree this movie is going to make an absolute crap ton of money because it blends the old Toy Story fans, the parents now who fell in love with the franchise, and it's going to blend the kids who see a new animated action movie with a new hero, and they're going to be like, "Ooh, what's that, mommy and daddy?" And they're both going to go to the movie theaters and see it and have a great time. So this is blending two different generations. So Disney is going to make a crap ton, whether or not this movie is critically well received or not.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to make a ton of money very middling. That's the sense I got from the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. But this is the question I have overall for you, Mike. In terms of Disney, this is a way they're going is we saw them remake live action of animated movies, right? With The Lion King, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, all this. But we've seen now a rise of telling individual stories with characters from the original tales, like Cruella. It started with Maleficent as well with Angelina Jolie, and now we have Lightyear. Is this the new trend that Disney's going to do? Just bringing back characters from movies that we love and telling original stories, but with IP that's already out there? I feel like this is the new way Disney's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard about a live action like adaptation from all the classic films coming for a while, so I feel like they're starting to shift this direction.
Well, like, so then what character is next? What character do you think is going to get the next origin tale that's going to give them some different perspective for the audience?
You're going to get some sort of Lion King like material because that movie made $1 billion.
That's true. I would this is my thing. If we're going to go the Cruella route and highlight a villain and give them like a backstory, if you will, as to how they became evil, give me Jafar from Aladdin. Yeah. Jafar is crazy. Jafar is evil. I want to know how the hell he got that evil. That's one that I'm interested in if they want to take that direction.
Yeah, I think Aladdin also is underrated. I feel like of the 3 that came out the year, I feel like that was the best one. People don't agree me on that.
Yeah, people were just really miffed about the Will Smith genie thing, and I think they took that too far. I remember that movie being very, very colorful. I remember Jasmine being really good, but I remember the actor who played Aladdin, I did not enjoy at all.
Yeah, he was kind of meh.
I don't remember his name, and I should, but I remember him being very disappointing.
I think it was Mana Masood, I believe.
Okay, well, again, he would need to step up his game, but I thought Jafar was good in that movie as well. So tell an origin story of Jafar if they're going to continue with this character's origin story thing.
I think for me, this is one where I'm looking at it saying, okay, like Disney Plus it is whenever it comes out there. I'm not going to go spend my money here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Next up here, our musical movie of the summer here, the Elvis biopic.
I have a confession. Yeah. I hate that I'm buying into this a little bit. I hate it. The trailers that Baz Luhrmann's putting out for this movie are intoxicating. He has a style that he knows how to manipulate incredibly well. And I hate that I'm getting kind of sort of excited for this. Maybe I'm excited because it might be a beautiful disaster, but I'm kind of sort of excited for Elvis.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of those like flashy vibes that you have like in Gatsby that are coming through this movie.
Right, but Elvis is a character in real life who fit that glamour, that glitter, that snazziness that Baz Luhrmann loves. Elvis lived that in real life. So it's actually a perfect match for a character and a director. And so I think it's all going to come down to Austin Butler and whether or not he could actually nail the role of Elvis. It's going to come down to him. And from the trailers, he seems to have the voice down. He seems to have the mannerisms down. It's just whether or not the story around it, and if he can tell the parts off the stage as well as he seems to be able to tell them on the stage.
Yeah. This one I'm intrigued by. I'm not sure I'm going to see it in theaters yet, but it is like a consideration.
Also, let's just put this right now. Dark Horse Tom Hanks Academy Award nominee performance for this. He's has a body transformation. He gets fat. He's got like a cane. He's acting older. He's also the side piece character. Like this has a praise for Tom Hanks as the background character written all over it. I'm just saying it right now.
You're calling the shot, best supporting actor nominee for Tom Hanks.
I'm just calling the shot that he's gonna be in the discussion. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Minions, The Rise of Gru, we kind of went over earlier here. Like this another one's gonna make a ton of money, and it's gonna be very, very, very mediocre to bad.
Yes, I would agree. Don't care about this movie at all. Happy for if you like it, but I will not be spending my money to see it.
Yeah, I know people who are going to see this thing. I will not be one of them.
No, if you have a family, it's probably great. Happy for you. Wonderful. Good time. But that's not for me.
All right. Next one here, the big Marvel we talked about before, Thor, Love and Thunder here. You have 2 trailers in now. This grabbed me right away. And I know I haven't predisposed to Marvel, but like the Aerosmith soundtrack to the first trailer was great. The sort of vibe it's giving off is a lot of fun here. And I do think it's interesting to see, like, this is our first like real, like main original 6 Avenger who's getting a follow-up after. I mean, Hawkeye's show kind of counts, but I don't really put it in here in terms of big movie atmosphere. This is it.
Yeah, this is the movie that I think is going to dictate Marvel's future. If this is a success, then they'll continue on the path they're on. If this one does not get the critical praise that it wants, then I think Feige and Marvel are going to have to rethink what they're going to do in the upcoming years because there's a lot behind this movie. It has Natalie Portman coming back, like we mentioned. You have now Christian Bale playing the bad guy, and he's an Oscar-winning actress playing the bad guy in a major multi-million-dollar, possible billion-dollar movie. You got a lot riding on this. And the new trailer dropped during the NBA playoffs, and it looked pretty good. A lot of different color palettes. I mean, they're just doing splatter paint with the black and white sometimes, and then the colorful rainbows. Tons of chances being taken with this movie, but I think this movie has a chance to solve a problem that a lot of Marvel movies have recently. Post Thanos is the bad guy problem.
Yes.
Christian Bale is good enough where he can make even a mediocre bad guy character into something great with his ability on screen. That's what I'm hoping for Marvel fans, that can bring that back, because post Thanos, they haven't done bad guys very well. And so they need something to bring it back. And Gore the God, I don't know much about him from the comics. In fact, I know nothing, but Christian Bale's playing him, so I think he's got a shot to elevate it.
Yeah, I think it's the second Marvel movie of the year. I think the third one coming out here later, I think in November, is the Black Panther sequel without Chadwick Boseman. So this is going to be a challenge for them regardless. Like, I know it's going to make some money, but I think you're right. I think it's the one that's really going to make or break them for the next couple of years.
Yeah, this is another hot take by me. Don't care about that Black Panther movie at all. Didn't enjoy the first one that much. And without Chadwick Boseman, sorry. Second one, it doesn't have nearly the legs to carry my attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last one I saw I saw the trailer for this finally in the movie for Doctor Strange, and this looks fun. I think it's going to be one of those where you're just throwing the popcorn back and laughing at like some of the absurdity, seeing it. Here's Bullet Train.
Injected into my veins, Mike Phillips, injected into my veins. Oh, this movie looks like a blast. This looks like John Wick, but more colorful and more comedic. You got Brad Pitt, who's just on a roll in terms of fun movies. He was in The Lost City with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock playing a fun part, and now he's in Bullet Train. This movie just looks fun as hell. I love a confined environment. I love assassins. I love violence. This movie has everything that I could possibly ask for. So I will be going to see this, and I'm incredibly excited.
Yeah, this one got me. My hype level went up for this when I saw the trailer. I'm like, this looks like just so much fun. And like, that's, you need summer movies a lot of times. Just go have fun.
Yeah, this is a movie where you're gonna have fun and you don't need to think about connective strings coming to something. You don't need to think about how this affects different movies in a different universe. This is gonna be a 2-hour action-packed, toss your popcorn up when you get excited type of movie, and I'm very, very excited for it. Also, very excited for Zazie Beetz, who I loved in the Harder They Fall. I'm very excited for her to be back in the movie. I think I'm going to be hopping on her train and just riding her coattails for her career. Her and Samara Weaving are my two big horses right now. So very excited for this movie. Very, very excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, this movie too. I think in terms of like what else on the slate got your attention. I think there wasn't much. Anything else that we did not cover yet that you're intrigued by this summer?
I got 3 movies. One of them I'll bring to you first because I think you might have some interest in this one because it involves the Russo brothers, The Gray Man. Action movie on Netflix, humongous budget. This is basically, we had Red Notice, right? An objective failure as a movie. Terrible. Big budget action movie with major stars. This, I think, is going to be a more upscale version of that, I hope. We have Ana de Armas, Ryan Gosling, Chris Evans. Very beautiful people, going to be doing crazy action things and being charismatic in front of the camera, probably being hokey and cheesy. But I do have faith that the Russo brothers can put something forward that's going to be like Extraction. If you remember with Chris Hemsworth, I think it was 2019, where you watch that action movie and you were just enthralled by it. I hope it's something like that. And from what I've read, they're going to try and make this a franchise. Like they're trying to make Red Notice a franchise. So I'm just hoping this one's a leg up. So that's the first one I'm very excited about. I don't know if you've heard anything about The Gray Man.
I have heard a little bit, and I did like put it on my like maybe list so far.
Yep. And then the other 2 I got are horror movies. I'll go through them quick. Nope. Jordan Peele's new horror movie. Anything that he signs on for, I'm going to watch it. I even watched the new Candyman, which he executive produced, and I liked it a lot. I really, really liked it. So Jordan Peele has universal approval rating for me right now. So I'm going to go check out Nope. And then The Black Phone, new horror movie with Ethan Hawke. This movie just looks bonkers. The commercials being played every single commercial break during the NBA playoffs, and my girlfriend hates it, but I love it. So I'm very excited for what this movie is going to bring. So I got 2 horror movies and then an action movie in The Gray Man.
Yeah, I know you're big on the horror stuff. Remember last summer we got the what was the trilogy on Netflix? The
Fear Street. Yeah, I love Fear Street.
Yeah, so like getting your good horror fix in the summer is underrated.
Yeah, I agree with you. Give me a summer horror flick. Give me something 4th of July weekend again to get me excited.
Yeah. And that was basically when the first one came out last year. I think it was right on 4th of July weekend.
Right. I was sitting here long weekend going, what am I going to watch? And then bada bing, bada boom. Found 3 great movies.
Yeah. It was definitely fantastic here and definitely a lot of fun. I will say it was also interesting. I know we mentioned this earlier, but we finally saw a trailer for Avatar 2 13 years later. So
we did. It's interesting. There was a ton of blue. I mean, that was my biggest takeaway. Everything is a shade of blue between the Na'vi and the ocean. It looks beautiful. We'll see what the story brings. We'll see what the acting brings, but we finally saw footage, so it does exist.
It does exist. It's not a figment of our imagination.
No, it does. And we'll see how many we get. I mean, I think Cameron wanted to do 5, but my biggest thing with the Avatar is that this is the first time James Cameron is directing and writing a direct sequel to a movie he made. This is the second time. The first time he did it was Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 was incredible. So if he's that passionate about the Avatar franchise as he was Terminator 2, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah, from what I've read somewhere, I think the issue with all the delays are there's a lot of like underwater footage that had to be shot for this movie. Apparently, there's a lot about the actor having to train to like breathe underwater for long periods of time and like technology to catch up. So I feel like there's gonna be a big water element to this movie. I mean,
that's the thing. The technology I've heard is the biggest delay. Is that basically he was like, "Listen, you guys got to catch up to what I want to do."
Yeah,
and he seems to have finally have gotten there. So we'll see what happens. But that comes out December around Christmas time, and we'll see if it goes up against its predecessor or Endgame in terms of getting the top box office of all time. But we'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll probably be a re-release of the original Avatar in theaters again soon to remind people like what was going on there.
You know what? That'd be a good call because I would need to watch a YouTube video to recap myself. All I remember is the vague ending, and then stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the end of this year, I feel like is more packed than the summer for some reason, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, there's a lot more blockbusters in November, December, but I think this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I still think that summer movies. There's going to be movies that, generate buzz that people aren't necessarily expecting that'll rise up. But I think it's going to be a heavy Marvel summer. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no DC movie this summer, so there's no competition in terms of the comic world.
Yeah, there's not. I think the next DC movie on the calendar is Shazam, the Shazam sequel at the end of the year. They move back Aquaman and the Flash.
Yeah. So again, Marvel's got free reign. If they're able to get the eyeballs and generate the quality that people are expecting now, then they'll be able to dominate the summer.
Yeah, I'm looking at the end of the year. I mean, I forgot apparently. Do you know that the Creed 3 is coming out this year?
I did know that Creed 3 is coming out this year. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I love Creed 1 and 2, but I have not heard much about Creed 3, but I did know it was coming out later this year.
Yeah.
I'm most excited for the soundtrack for that movie. The soundtracks for the first two are what I remember most.
Yeah. And looking here, I mean, Avatar is December 16th. And then I think the Friday before Christmas is that the Shazam movie. And I think there's a Puss in Boots sequel coming, apparently.
Antonio Banderas still getting that paycheck, I guess.
Yeah, he's getting paychecks.
Fair enough.
All right. So forgot there's a WB movie. There's a DC movie in October as well. Black Adam is October.
Oh, you know what? That's The Rock. You got The Rock and Black Adam in a movie that's been talked about for 5 years. It seems finally coming out. I guess. I mean, we'll see. That's the fall, so it's not the summer. That's the fall. But I guess DC does have something up their sleeve with that.
Yeah, they do. And what else have you been checking out lately? What has caught your interest?
So recent movies are stuff that I watched that I liked. I've been on kind of a horror movie kick. I watched the new Candyman I really enjoyed. I watched The Taking of Deborah Morgan, which is a movie that came back out in 2014, but for some reason it was under Vudu's most viewed rentals and it was getting a lot of praise recently, so I watched it. It was very good. I watched Hail Caesar recently, which was a Coen Brothers movie. Hadn't seen it yet. It was very good. And this is a movie that not a lot of people liked, but I watched All the Old Knives on Amazon Prime. Yeah. New one that came out this year, political thriller. I really enjoyed it. Reviews weren't that positive, but I had a great time. So those were the four I liked recently, but I'm here, Mike. I'm going to give you some movies that absolutely stunk too. Yeah. I recently watched Unbroken, the Angelina Jolie directed movie. I believe that came out in 2014. Just a pile of trash. It was on the National Board of Review's top 10 movies for that year. Don't understand how. It was god awful. I watched Fast 9. I don't know if you saw Fast 9.
I did not.
Utter garbage. Like bottom of the barrel, put oil on it and put gasoline on it, light it on fire, roll it down a hill and let it burn up the entire. It was terrible. It was awful. Terrible. And then I recently watched Firestarter, which came out on Peacock, starring Zac Efron, the Stephen King movie. And again, a steaming pile of trash. Yeah. So those are the last three terrible movies I've seen. I can't wait to write my review for Firestarter because I'm just gonna rip it to shreds. Yeah, I'm planning to, now that it's on stream, I'm gonna watch the Sonic sequel. Apparently, I've heard some good things about that. What service is that on? I don't know.
Paramount Plus.
Ooh, I'll be checking that out. I like the first Sonic. I did.
Yeah, it actually on day of recording, it dropped on Paramount Plus. So
really,
yes, today's the day.
Interesting. Okay, good to know.
Yes, I'm going to watch that soon. And in terms of HBO stuff, I will again, I'm saying this on the podcast before, Winning Time is probably my favorite show of the year thus far.
People have loved it. I still haven't watched it yet, but people have absolutely loved it. Have you heard of The Staircase on HBO Max? Have you checked that out yet?
I am watching it.
My girlfriend loves it. She's 4 episodes in, I think, or 3, however many episodes there are.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to finish it and you have to watch it after me so we can talk about it. So I think that might be the next series that's on my list after I finish some movies.
Yeah, that show is very good. The acting is very good. I mean, you've heard about the actual case it's based on, right?
Right, exactly. So I've heard the rough case, but I don't know a lot about it. I just know it exists. And my girlfriend saw Colin Firth and she thought it was a movie, but it turned out to be a series. So She said great things, though. So I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, the people like in this case are like cuckoo bananas. So like, it's obviously a lot of fun story playing through here. And I do like the fact, I mean, they have Toni Collette in the show playing Kathleen Peterson, who actually
I love Toni Collette.
Yeah, and they do a good job in the show of not just using her as a victim. They actually do flashbacks to like their life prior to the murder or that. So like they do utilize her as not just a corpse. They actually have her be a living, breathing character. It's different than a lot of these other Netflix projects, like Staircase related projects thus far.
Gotcha. Okay, well, yeah, I definitely plan on checking it out because I've heard great things about that. So that's the one on HBO Max indeed to add to my queue.
Yeah, there's a big cast in that show. I mean, Sophie Turner's in it as one of the daughters. I forget who else. I think Patrick Schwarzenegger is one of the sons. There's a lot.
Here's the thing: HBO just puts out good shows. Like they have that new show that's based off The Wire, the Baltimore Cops.
Yeah.
Stars John Bernthal, but that one's supposed to be getting great reviews as well. Is it not We Own the Night or something like that? No, that's a Mark Wahlberg movie or Joaquin Phoenix movie. But it's basically in the same spirit of The Wire, and everyone's raving about that series as well.
Yeah, I will die on the hill of Winning Time. Now that's my number one pick of the year thus far in terms of shows.
All right, well, it's in my queue. I just got to eventually watch. I just haven't watched it yet.
If you're a big Adam McKay guy, this is very, very, very much like Adam McKay energy.
We Own This City is the TV show I'm talking about, not We Own the Night. We Own This City. And Adam McKay needs to get back on my good side. Let's be honest, because
after Don't Look Up.
Yes, correct. And wasn't he involved with the bubble?
No, that was Judd Apatow.
Oh, well, then he needs to get back on my good side as well. I confused the two of them. So, but yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Absolutely, John. Thanks all the time. Really appreciate it. Before I let you go, I could be on social media. Keep out what you're doing over at Stanko Stance.
You could follow me at Twitter or any social media platform at jstanko99, or I do a bunch of my writing at stankosstance.com.
Absolutely. And for people who are fans of Jon Stanko, we might be seeing him on some of the Sky Guys stuff coming up soon. Scheduling still be settled here, but there is a possibility.
I think we're going to make it happen. We're both very excited for Kenobi. The trailers have really hyped it up. You are a Star Wars nut. You know all the backstory and the lore, and I'm a fan. So we're going to come at it from two different perspectives, I think. But I think we're both ready to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did do our character draft on the preview podcast this week. And I will spoil one of my picks here for those who have not listened to that yet. One here, I took Ahsoka to show up in the show.
I could agree with that. I think that's a fair prediction.
Because I think her relationship with Kenobi from the Clone Wars is also underrated.
Yes, it is. But they would not have her show up with an episode with Darth Vader because they have a big face-off. They would not spoil what happened in Rebels with putting anything in Kenobi.
No, my theory with that is that like when he goes to whatever planet he's on, the second planet where they have all the casinos and stuff, I think he's gonna run into her there. That'll be my hunch.
All right, I could appreciate that guess. I like that. So you take the shot that Ahsoka's going to be in Kenobi, and I take the shot that Tom Hanks might be nominated for Best Supporting Actor with Elvis.
Yeah, well, no, if I'm right, a lot sooner than if you're right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I got to wait till next February.
Absolutely, John. Thanks all the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.